This meeting to order, January 16th, 2026. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Taylor?
Here.
Vice Mayor Cott?
Here.
Commissioner Casabun?
Here.
Commissioner Ranello?
Present.
Mayor Dixon?
Here. I would love you to stand with me as we salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda? Oh, I'm sorry, let me go back. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the meetings of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are none, Mayor.
All right. Now we're going to move on to presentations. Maybe that's him coming now. Shall we wait a moment?
Yeah, I guess.
He came to find the bills.
He does know he's coming.
Yes, I guess. I didn't know he was sending food. Here he is.
There he
is.
We've started.
Yeah. Oh, you can come all the way up here.
I was told it was at 1:30.
Oh. Whoops.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Well, then you're early then. Derek's like, man, I'm good. I'm 25 minutes early. We're not staring at you. We're just-
I am.
Laura is.
And this is just a presentation on the water meters.
Yes.
Correct.
So, we're looking to move forward on the water meter upgrade project. I guess before I start, the core main and meter tech were both, I believe, coming to the meeting, but I told them that it was at 1:30 when I asked. That's what I was told, so I'm sure they're gonna be showing up late as well. So if there are any questions.
Madam Clerk, can I interrupt? Are we able to move the presentations lower in the agenda and wait? Because I'm sure that we're going to talk about a lot of things.
Yeah,
During
we,
the work
we can
session.
come back to it when everybody's
Can we come
here.
back to it? Because I don't want to
Yeah,
have
no,
this
right.
meeting unless we have the principals
Right.
here.
You could still sit there.
So we're okay with moving that?
Yeah, we can just revisit that when
Revisit
everybody's
that
here
later.
and we can go
Okay.
to the other stuff.
All right, thank you. At this time, we're going to have public comment on agenda items only. If you have a comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and please keep your comments to 5 minutes. Seeing nobody at the podium for agenda items only, let's move on to discussions of commissioners. We're going to discuss tentative ordinances and resolutions. Madam Clerk, if you want to take us through those.
Okay. So we do have a potential ordinance for first reading. This is an ordinance amending the municipal code of the city of Millville, adding subsection under solid waste charges to establish a deduction for senior disabled persons, adding a subsection under payment of solid waste service charges to establish late fees.
Any comments by commissioners?
Yeah, couple. So my concern here, and I just want to make sure, you have the application process for those who are eligible for this deduction, say for the separate utility like our water utility. I want to make sure that we have separate application. Similar to that, so we can make sure that those people are eligible. In speaking to our solicitor earlier, we have the late fee section. It's really baffling to me why this wasn't done when this utility was set up. because it's not retroactive. So if somebody hasn't paid for this solid waste utility, you can't fine them for something that didn't exist. We didn't have this set up when they set up the trash utility. So it would be anybody going forward, and that was really disappointing and disheartening to hear. So to enable the late fees and anything like that going forward, this has to be passed. But can't go backwards. And I don't know why this wasn't done when the utility was created, so.
Do we have is there actually an ordinance already set up for this waste? There's no ordinance right now for the late fee or anything, right?
So they have it set up, but my understanding is when they did the resolution, and Mr. Russell could chime in here, is how we change the ordinance by resolution.
Does it match the language exactly like the water and sewer?
That's what we want, so that would be
But right now it does not.
Mr. Russell?
Yeah, I mean, if I may speak, the ordinance would have to be amended if you want to include a late fee, because that's not in the original ordinance.
Correct.
And as I explained to Commissioner Ranella earlier today, the reason a resolution comes into the picture is because the costs of this program are constantly changing. And so you can't put the cost that you're charging the public in the ordinance. It needs to be in a resolution. So every year, the commission is charged with adopting the actual fee, which is going to be based on what the actual cost is at that time.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the late fee and the elderly.
That needs to be by ordinance. That cannot be by resolution.
And has anybody drafted an ordinance for that yet?
Yeah, I think there is. I think there is an amended ordinance that would add the language for a late fee and bring that into conformity to the way we deal with other payments people make for water and sewer and taxes.
So I just want to verify that.
Yeah, I would want to verify that the ordinance, so the ordinance exists for something that doesn't exist? That's why
No,
I'm
we have an
confused. So we're
ordinance
not
that
using a
doesn't-
late fee or disabled, but there is an ordinance for that, or we're amending which ordinance?
No, we would be amending the ordinance because we have an ordinance. It just doesn't allow us to charge a late fee.
So we're just
Okay.
amending it.
Okay. All right, so we just have to add it, all right.
But that won't be retroactive to people.
No, well, I don't think you can do that.
No.
I think that would be unlawful
Yeah. I
to
would think so.
charge somebody a late fee when it wasn't authorized by an ordinance.
Right. So that's just going forward, Brock, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So Brock, we would need to amend that ordinance to include that
Yeah,
language?
and I think that's what's going to be on Tuesday's agenda,
Yes.
which would be an ordinance amending the existing ordinance.
Yes.
So it'll start as from this day forward, correct, Brock?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be, well, effective, it would be effective
After the second.
20 days after the adoption
Right,
of the
okay.
ordinance.
And I think also something that we should try to establish is if we're giving a deduction for seniors and disabled people, if they haven't paid from the beginning, we should really know how many of those individuals are in arrears from the beginning, and if we really want to give that deduction. I think that's something that we really need to look at.
So also, just a question on that, Brock. For the water and sewer, if somebody applies for the deduction, do they have to be current on their bill, do we know?
That, you'd have to ask Tracy that, but I think that you can't make this perfect, but I think what Tracy would like to see would be uniformity in the way that we treat people that are ratepayers, whether it's a sewer or water ratepayer or it's a trash solid waste ratepayer.
Agreed.
And that's what she's looking for.
Agreed. Thank you, Brock.
Thanks, Brock.
Any more comments on this item?
No.
All right, next.
Yes, for resolutions, we have a resolution appointing Samantha Silvers as member of the Enterprise Zone Development of Vineland and Millville.
Any comments from commissioners?
Sam Silvers has been a member. She wants to remain a member. And that's it.
Anyone else? All right, let's move on.
A resolution appointing member of the Millville Shade Tree Commission, Doug Hildreth.
Any comments?
Want to keep our members active and current. That's it.
All right,
I think any citizen that's willing to, come out and assist is good. We should encourage that. It's great.
And we thank them for coming out.
That's good. All right,
Resolution authorizing the City of Millville to apply for New Jersey Department of Community Affairs grant.
We definitely want to apply for this grant. At least I do. Hoping to have support there.
Grants are good. I know that sounds a little short, but, any grant that we can get or apply for is
how much is
plus
that?
for the city.
How
I'm
much is
sorry,
that
How
grant?
much is it for?
Oh, gosh.
$100,000.
Yeah, it's 100.
And that's
100,000.
for Waltman Park Inclusive Upgrade Project.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
Is there any matching funds, or is that just an outright grant?
I think she has that as an outright grant.
Okay.
and what type of upgrades can that grant be used for? I know you said Waltman Park, but is it specific to certain things?
Yeah, we have a whole scope. I could,
Okay, yeah,
yeah. I
That's
think
fine.
I think you have it.
okay,
Okay.
I'll take a look.
Okay. Then we have a resolution authorizing the execution of an application to the New Jersey Urban Enterprise Zone Authority for first-generation urban enterprise zone assistance funds not to exceed $312,000 to fund the Millville UEZ Police Program Year 2.
I would just say I'm very in favor of this grant to continue. We are going to drill down on exactly the hours and the personnel used for this. I think this is something that the city should continue because it does highlight those areas that are very visible, especially people shopping in the downtown area. They're very visible areas, and I think it's a great program that should continue.
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor, I agree. It's been a successful program so far. I absolutely want to continue this program because it goes into the scope of the larger project that we have going for the downtown area and the UEZ area. The officers are very positive about it, and so is Chief Hoffman. We're going to change just a little bit of language so we can add in different days during different events and some other things. So I encourage support for this.
And I'll just jump back in. I would like to see, as we do this, and we talked about this, a way that we can be, the way that these funds and these officers can be more accountable. I think we talked about this where at certain times they're supposed to be walking up and down High Street. I would love to have a very narrow window of, okay, at this time, these folks are going to be walking here, they're going to be here, so that they can be, make sure these funds are being spent in the way that they're meant to be spent.
Agreed.
Agree. And we have seen some changes. We
Yeah.
have seen some positive feedback with the
Absolutely,
extra.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, we have. And I'm not trying to be nitpicky, I just want to make sure that, when we allocate funds to certain things, that they're being used exactly how they're supposed to be used.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, right now, 2 officers, now it's only 2 days a week, are going to be on foot in the center city. And I think that is huge, right? Start getting that visibility of seeing the officers up and down the High Street, Buck, Second, around that area. And I think moving forward, now that we are going to have a greater scope and the chief has a little bit more range to put these officers where events are going on and where there's going to be a large section, it's just going to be great for the city as you're going to see the more officers.
Do you want to describe a little bit more in detail how the program works, in case people aren't aware of it?
So, yeah, well, I don't want to take Officer Taylor, Public Safety, so if you want to go explain that.
So the officers, there's 4 officers on the shifts. There's 2 separate shifts, 4 hours each. 2 officers are supposed to be walking. They can trade off back and forth. 2 officers on foot, 2 officers in a roving patrol vehicle in the UEZ area. Primarily the High Street, Second, Bruck, and shopping areas. We encourage the public as well that when you see the officers, approach them, talk to them, have a little interaction. Don't be afraid of the police officers. They're there for some interaction. They're there to talk to the business owners. It's a really good program, and the officers are excited about it. I've had several that have come up to me and said, we're kind of having fun with it. It's a serious thing, but they're also, getting out there and having fun with it. I know that the chief's excited about it. One of the things he had asked me was, just could we change the language just a little bit? And it's pretty much a sentence, sentence that, that way he can, because when there's certain events or stuff like that on High Street, he has a little bit more leeway. He can assign the officers, to that, to those events and special things, even if they're not taking place on Friday or Saturday. So, I agreed with him. I think that little bit of a change is going to be even better for the program.
And I think once the residents start seeing that foot patrol, that extra, they're going to say, hey, we can go down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel a little bit more secure about coming out. So it's a great idea.
I'm actually,
We should see some, hopefully, increase with the residents.
yeah,
Yes.
myself and Commissioner Cott are going to go out tonight for an hour or so to walk up and down with the
So
guys.
feel
and
free to talk to us
Yes.
as well. Like,
Yep.
you don't have to run and hide, so if you see us up and down the street, please.
Talk to some
us.
business owners and, walk with the
Wear your
officers. and-
gloves.
Yeah, it's a little cold tonight.
I
but-
need a hat.
You're going to need
I need a hat.
It'll be cold.
Any more comments?
Yeah, I'm actually just really excited for the businesses. I think this is a great thing for our businesses as well.
Absolutely.
Agreed. Agreed. Just one of the positive changes that we wanted to make. I know this is something that existed before, but it's something that should continue. And I think tweaking the hours where the chief has more flexibility is a good thing.
Resolution authorizing the QPA to award pay-to-play non-fair and open window contracts.
Any comments?
Yeah, so this is just getting, it's more about just following state regulations for the QPA, bringing it up to the standard, what the law requires, but to also give anybody a peace of mind moving forward for transparency reasons. We're actually going to be listing all the bills that have been paid the previous month. So if anybody, I know some people like to go through that stuff, so it's good for late night reading, and we're going to have all the bills posted with the agenda and as well as at the meeting. So we're trying to do both by making sure we follow the appropriate law for that, just so everybody knows what we're paying. We actually have a stack all ready to go for the, Tuesday's meeting. So that's going to be a good foot forward and just showing some more transparency of what we spend our money on.
What our money on, yeah.
Yep, because it is taxpayers' money, right?
It is taxpayers' money, absolutely. Great idea.
Any more comments?
And I would love to take that idea, but that was our CFO, so.
CFO,
Yeah.
thank you, Trish.
Yeah.
She's all about transparency,
Transparency.
and so I will not take credit when it wasn't me.
Resolution awarding a non-fair and open contract for affordable housing services, Clark, Canton, Hints.
Yeah, so this one, Clark has already been the RFP was, it finished. That's why we're making a non-fair. He did put his pay to play within the proper 10 days. We do have that on file. All his applications are in. So that's just a contract that expired that we're now using them, or we're still using them, I should say.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the contract we had with Clarkade and Hints was, initially they said to us, listen, since we haven't done work for you, Millville, in so many years, and since we know Millville probably hasn't kept up as well as it should have with the requirements of affordable housing, which have changed greatly over the years, they recommended just pay us $5,000. This is last year, and we'll just do a preliminary analysis of what your needs are. And then that will put us in a position next year to actually present a proposal to you so that we can actually do the planning that's necessary to bring you in compliance. So it's really kind of step two in terms of our involvement with them. And the other thing that I would say is we issued an RFP for affordable housing, but it was not for an affordable housing planner. It was for an affordable housing attorney. So it's certainly appropriate for us, which we don't need, by the way. So I don't know why we did it, but that's what we did. But so it's certainly appropriate for us to let a non-fair and open contract to Clark, Caton, and Hinton, they're the best in the state, by the way, for a planner. They're an affordable housing planner, and we have the pay-to-play, and this is ready to be placed on the agenda for approval.
Brock, I know you and I have talked about this. What is the deadline to bring us into compliance on this?
Well, there's a lot of deadlines. There's a lot of deadlines, and a lot of them have passed. So there are a number of deadlines. I think I've sent that out in the past to everyone. But in essence, if I can give you an idea, what you're really supposed to do is you're supposed to prepare a plan document. And you need to address what COA wants us to address. They've said there are a certain number of affordable housing units we're required to provide. But to have a really good answer to that question, probably we should have a telephone conference at some point, could even be in closed session with Brian Slough.
All right. I thought we had talked and saw we need to be in compliance by, I thought it was March, perhaps? Was that one of the?
There are a number of deadlines.
Okay,
Number of deadlines for whatever reason last year.
that's what I'm getting at.
We for whatever reason, we didn't reach any of the deadlines from last year. So
Correct.
not to harp on last year and moving forward,
No, just
we
move
are going
forward.
to try to.
That was my very sly way of saying
Yes.
this is not our fault, and
Correct.
this is with what's been left.
Correct.
you know,
So
put in
we're
our
trying
laps
to, we're
here.
trying to
So,
fix up
yeah.
and catch that up. That's correct.
Yeah, Brian seemed to be optimistic that it was a curable situation.
Okay.
So I think we'll be okay.
All right. Thank you.
And we do
Brian.
have certificate funds for that, but we're not voting on it, so. but
Right.
just so you know.
Resolution awarding a professional contract for city planner, CME Associates.
So I'll just say on this one, Barbara Fagley, who's done a great job for us in the past, decided to pull her RFP for personal reasons. She's done a great job, and she just felt at this time that she was not able to continue doing, and it was basically just personal issues in her life. And we decided to go with CME. They do a great job in other aspects of the city, so that's who we chose.
I just have to comment that I worked with Barb on the planning board, and she's very knowledgeable, and she's going to be missed.
Yeah.
So she did know.
Yeah, it's a great loss.
Yes, it is.
But I feel confident CMA will do a good job.
Resolution appointing members to the zoning board.
Which members are they? Can you tell us?
That will be Brian Mills and Paula Hewlings, both as full regular members.
Good. So Brian Mills is going from an alternate to a full member, and Paula Hewlings is going to
Be a regular
be
member
a
as
regular
well.
member as well. And that will fill up, I think that will fill up all our regular members.
Yeah, we'll just have our alts.
I don't think we have any alts right now.
No,
So we're
correct.
still looking for alternates for the zoning board, for the public, if you want to serve the city. We're still looking for more alternates.
But I do want to give a shout out, like, thanks for Brian, for going from alternate to full. We appreciate that. We also appreciate Paula Hewlings, right? A new face, new blood that's stepped up from the community. That's exciting to see, right? We're getting new faces in there. We're filling our boards up slowly. We do need some alternates, but I do appreciate those two
Yeah.
for stepping up, and that's commendable.
It's a good amount of work, and you don't get a whole lot of appreciation for
No,
it.
you don't.
That's for sure.
I
Thank
know what
you.
that's like.
That's for sure.
That's what- Well, we
I've
thank them.
known Paula for a great many years. She used to be a business owner on High Street. She's into realty now. After we were elected, she was one of the first people that stepped up and approached me to do, I want to be on some kind of board, zoning, planning, shade tree, it doesn't matter. I want to get involved. I want to, be involved with the community. So I commend her for stepping up like that. That was great. So she's going to be a good addition.
Madam Clerk, just not to hold up our guests here today, are we allowed to take a break here and see our presentations? Because I don't want to hold you guys up that have come in for a bunch of boring resolutions. I'll give you guys a chance to do your presentation and move on, if that's okay. Okay.
Floor is yours now, Derek.
So we're looking to move forward with the meter upgrade project that install started in May of 2024 for phase one. Phase one is kind of hit a little bit of a lull we're to the point where we're getting lack of response from the residents in the area of town that we started it. Some of them, there are a few that may be refusing. They claim they want more knowledge. They're going to speak to the city, but they haven't called us yet. So we're going to reach out to those, but we've also since then opened up the rest of the town. So Meter Tech has been sending more letters to residents throughout the town to try and get, more meters installed and, get what we have in the container, out in the public and working. Currently, we have, for phase one, there was like 3,600 meters ordered between commercial and residential. And we have, it's in your notes, like 3,000, is that what's installed?
I believe it's
If you'd like to come up, we can get you a chair to sit up here with him, if that's, Mr. Couchy, could you grab a chair? I apologize. Do we need two chairs?
Yeah, the one
Stated I could sit here whenever.
No, we'll grab two chairs. We have two chairs right in the back. We shuffled them aside. I apologize. Thank you, Mr. Couchy.
that's completed.
One more. There we go.
Okay, so 2,100 installed, and we have about 300 issue accounts, which some of those issue accounts can be taken care of.
Can I ask you a question? What date, when did we start installation on the water meters? Can you give me a date that we started installing?
It was May.
January of 2025. All right.
We did surveys, I want to say in December.
Okay.
Hey, Joe.
Mr. Mayor, we're trying to get a microphone for them
I'm sorry.
so the public can hear.
Okay,
Emily.
we'll hold for just a second.
I think it can fit.
Math on that.
Good
So
call.
we actually only started January of 24,
25.
25 of installing.
Is that all in Derek?
Shipping.
Yep.
Okay.
So 3,600 ordered, 3,000 installed, is that where we
It's like,
left off? at?
2,100.
2,100 installed.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was sort of,
That averages to about 8 per day. Does that sound right? For work, if we're just
For
looking at
work
working
days,
days?
yeah,
Okay.
excluding holidays.
Is that what you guys are estimating, how many we can get done per day?
No, so I can answer, I'll let Derek answer, but one of the issues we're having is unresponsive people that are not responding to the emails or the texts or the phone calls. We've been doing text blasts, we've been doing email blasts. We're just not getting the response that we're after. We target and by the way.
can I ask you a question real quick? Where are you getting those numbers from? Because I had one resident call me and said that they've never owned a water meter and they got a call about an address that they lived in a long time ago, but nothing's been under their name, and they got their new cell phone number somehow, so.
Okay, so I would let Derek or Christina answer that
They-
because.
We get any information that billing has on file is where Meter Tech gets their contact
Okay.
information from. So if Tracy sent all the accounts to Meter Tech, and she sent all the accounts prior to, like not just the phase that we started on. So she sent all accounts for the city. So if an email address or a phone number is listed on the account, that's what they used to send out like text messages, emails, and then if there's nothing listed on the account, they get flyers sent to the address or to the property owner, whoever the bill to is, you know,
So there could be a potential scam out there.
there could be.
Okay. I don't know if you've
We
heard
don't,
of any
we
yet
don't
or
want to
not.
say that, but we're just trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had a resident early on, an elderly gentleman call me and say that someone came to his door, or they called him and said that he had to give his social security number and things like that, and I told him that that's absolutely not true.
Okay.
You know, you don't have to pay anything. They were trying to get money from him and
Wow.
things like that. So unfortunately, when we put it on the city website that we were gonna start this project, the company that was going to be doing the installs was listed, so
Okay.
they, you know, make up a fake phone number, see what they can get off Meter Tech's website, and, you know, that was the
Right, with
only,
some facts.
yeah, that was the only one that I heard about, was just that one gentleman, but I haven't heard of any other.
Okay.
And
Good.
a lot of people are calling the office,
Just trying to
asking us
verify it.
if it's true.
Good.
Good.
And I verify the contact phone number with them to make sure that it's, you know, they didn't get a flyer from somebody that's,
Thank
you
you.
know.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Can I
So
ask-
any resident that is hearing and watching this, if you have any questions, call the water department. If you have any concerns whatsoever, yes.
Is there-
Thank you, Gary.
I'm sorry, Carol. Is there a particular area that we focused on so far in the city?
We started, it was cycle 3, I think cycle 1 and 3, which is like the northeast part of town, and the commercial accounts. We did hit some snags on the commercial accounts. And some of the problem was, when we first started the project, got the quote in '23 and moved forward with the PO, the original person that gave us the quote did not include some of the, what they call adders on our PO.
Those are adapters to be able to
Like,
adapt.
if
to the piping.
if there's an issue in the house, if something breaks while meter tech's there and they need to, you know, make a repair, or if it's, you know, the main valve doesn't work, so they can't shut the water off. If the curb stop is unable to be located at the time, because if the inside valve doesn't work, they'll try to shut the water off outside first. And if none of that works, then they would have the option to go ahead and freeze the line to switch the meter out. They would also, you know, they inform the resident that their plumbing's bad on the inside, that they should get some repairs done. And they also will let us know, so we can maybe try to get out there, trace the line to find a shut-off for future issues. But if those adders were on the original PO, a lot of these issue accounts would already have been done. But they can't do them without approval. And some of them they did because it was on their quote from Core and Main, the adders were, but it wasn't on ours. So we held payment on the invoices because we didn't know what it was at first. So now in the new quote that, like, we renegotiated the adders prices, Core and Main and myself, and then Core and Main went back to Meter Tech and, you know, came up with what we believe is fair pricing for the adders.
How often are adders needed? So like out of 10 houses you go to, how often is an adder needed?
With each
Yeah.
technician, I would say maybe one, maybe none, maybe
Maybe
a
1 out of
few.
10?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not that often that an
No,
adder is
there's
needed.
days that we may not have any.
So out of the 2,100 installed so far, there's maybe a couple hundred adders that are gonna be invoiced.
I don't even think there's a couple hundred. I know that
Yeah,
we
maybe
have,
less than
I do have some of the invoicing,
I
I'll
have
give them back through, yeah, so you have, but what the issue was here, if you don't mind, if I take just a second. So, and by the way, I'm Keith from Core Main. So, the issue was when, Millville got pricing originally, the gentleman that did it, my counterpart before me, the adders weren't on there. So when Core Main flipped the project to an actual job title and sent it to Meter Tech, Meter Tech thought, okay, we can go ahead and do these, you know? We had to stop that process because we didn't have a signed agreement with Millville. So which brings us to the reason we're sitting here today. Derek and I sat down and I said, look, we're one, visiting these customers 2-3 times if we don't get the adders approved, right? Which is an inconvenience to the people of Millville. One, it's hard enough to get a appointment and get an agreement. Two, then if you go in and you don't have the approval to do the, the valve change or, running a new wire out to the side of the house so they could put the radio on. Now it's another visit back there. So we discussed all that. It's unfortunately, it was an issue on our end, but it brings us to the idea of approving the adders, and we reduced the pricing of the adders. Derek and I sat down and kind of said, what can we do here? Where can we save money? So we took the initial quote that we had, and we kind of moved it back down, agreed upon these adders, and we got, I believe, from Christina from Meter Tech, everything that we're up against would be covered and approved. So there should be a second or third visit to the home.
So an adder could be a number of different things. It could be a valve or an adapter or
Correct.
just anything that's added on.
So if the wire from the meter to the outside of the house is broken, that's an adder. If the valve in the house, the technician shuts it off and it breaks and he needs to replace it, that's an adder. He would go out, he has the permission from the utility to shut the curb stop off and change the meter, or change the valve for the customer, turn it back on and go back about his day.
Can you give me an idea what the actual, kind of the average price is per adder? I know it varies depending on what it is, but
Yeah, so if you were looking at, say, the worst case scenario, right? Or I'll give you two objects here. Additional parts required, and this is something that Derek and I talked extensively about, is $250 cost to the town of Millville. In conversation with Derek and Christina and I, we discussed the idea of, Derek did a very good job of saying, hey, are you gonna charge $250 every time even though it might be $100? And I said, it's a very good question, let me take it back. So we did. And Christina brought it back to me and said, on an average, that $250 covers the cost of the repairs. One may be $100, one may be $600. So instead of having an individual bill for each one, we do like kind of the average. So that would be, okay, so if we need to replace the valve, if we need to replace a small rotted galvanized nipple coming out of the meter setter, something like that. And then just to give you another example, if there was no curb stop to be able to shut off, the meter technicians could freeze the line inside and then take that valve off, put a new one on, and do that. And that would be $200. So there is a slew of adders on here. There is a lot that we'll never use here, okay? But we're putting them on now because we're not coming back to ask for this
Right.
again, right?
Because
We
they
want to
were
give you the worst case
We may never-
scenario.
they were never added
Yes.
when this
And-
was
and-
done in
and-
the beginning.
Yep, and we'll take full responsibility for that. But then others are as simple as, if it's an OSHA vault entry, there's a cost for that, right? Because it's a 3-man team, there's an entry, there's a piece of equipment to test the oxygen, there's a permit, there's somebody lowering somebody down, all this costs extra, These, I think you'd only see on the commercial side if we're gonna see them. You're not gonna see them in a residential home, but I don't think we're gonna have too many of them. But again, we went through and talked about anything we thought would pertain to us, and that's what we put up there.
So you're seeing adders as generally less than 10% of what you're seeing. Are you seeing adders are more prevalent in certain areas of town than others?
So I would say that, and
I think cycle 3 may have been the more challenging.
yeah, I think we're starting in the more challenging area of
Okay.
Millville.
Because of
from-
the homes being much
Yes,
older,
because of the
correct?
age of the
Yes,
homes and
yeah.
So as we go to newer neighborhoods, we should see the costs get lower.
I would say that's very fair.
And by
yeah.
having all this here, you're gonna have all this stuff that is needed, like you went into this one particular house. You don't have to say, oh, I have to come back.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have
if
what you
we're-
need
if
to
we're
do, what we have
visiting-
to have done, to get it done that day, done,
Right.
boom.
If we're
Okay.
visiting Commissioner
Okay.
Casper's house, we wanna come once and get the job done and
Correct,
leave.
okay.
We don't wanna
all right.
keep doing this to the customer.
Absolutely.
And we
right.
also understand it's hard enough to get one appointment, let alone two to come
But
back.
we're not charged more if you have to come back multiple times.
No.
No.
Okay,
No.
all right. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I'm sorry to go backwards. This is
No,
new to
please,
all of
I-
us, so,
Yeah.
I hate
please.
to do things that have already been explained to previous commissions.
No, absolutely.
So, I mean, moving forward, initially, when this got presented in '23, the city got a bond for $5 million. Right now, we need, all of the commercial meters, by the way, were bought and delivered and are in stock here in Millville as part of phase one. So the only, as long as the 1.5 and 2 meters, some of those are residential, but they ordered all of the larger meters in phase one. So all we have to buy to complete the project are 5/8 and 1 meters. And then the radios and the touchpads that would be required for each account. And that would be, we need 5,060 5/8 meters and 188 1 meters, 4,811 touchpads, and 4,811 radios. Everything else is in stock. We have about 1,400 meters in the container, and that's commercial and residential. We have 0 1 meters left. All the 1 meters that were bought for phase one have been installed. We have 1,256 5/8 left, and year to date so far, from what Christian, who's another member of Meter Tech, who sends me all the information, they have, I think, 136 installed so far in January, or it may be from December and January, since we opened it up to more of Millville. So the more, they're sending letters to other areas of town now, and we are getting a lot of appointments. There are 2 installers here every day, all day. And with that, it's like, I know in the last meeting, we were like 16 a day once the city's open all the way. When we order the rest, each installer would be, you said like 16 meters a day?
Target. right?
Target 16, if everybody shows up to their appointment and, if there are any.
Is there ever a time where technicians have nothing to do?
I'm gonna give you one example that we're facing is, let's just say a landlord owns multiple properties and makes multiple appointments for that day, and then doesn't show. We have a technician that's 5-6 appointments just canceled for the day. So what we're trying to do is, and Millville's done a very good job working with us, is trying to backfill those appointments with meter pits that are outside the home that we don't need appointments to do.
Okay.
So we've been trying to keep them filled that way to keep progress moving.
Yeah, because if you do the math, I mean, this is how, have you estimated when the completion date on, I know it's hard to do, but completion date of the entire project is?
So, no, and the answer is no, because we haven't gotten to the point where we're finally at now, after meeting before, with the willingness of Millville to open up the rest of the accounts. Right, because we've been stuck in cycle 1 and 3, and it's been like gridlock getting into
Is
these.
there a reason why we didn't open up more areas for you?
I don't have that answer. I would let Derek answer.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, so we were, originally, when talking with Tracy, we wanted to concentrate on one cycle and for billing purposes.
Okay.
But now, seeing that we're, halfway through that cycle, or more than halfway through, and how easy it is for her to get the reads from the radios, they're right on the computer now. It's like a click of a button. She downloads it into Edmunds and the billing, and all the reads are there. And then our meter readers, gets the rest of them, and we download to them. And seeing that it's not as confusing as she thought it would be, she says that, we can open it up to the rest of the town.
Okay.
There are multiple residents who have called regarding their bill since their new meter's been in, saying that my bill's never been this high. Well, your previous meter's 33 to 35 years old. Its life expectancy was 15 years, so it, probably wasn't working properly. And some of that could have been where you were getting water, using more water than you were being billed because your meter's running slow. There are a couple where, we say, look, look at it this quarter and look at it next quarter and see. And this is what you actually have been using, but your old meter wasn't registering it. So now it is. So it's, we're getting revenue for the water that's being used daily.
Was there any studies done prior to this that showed us how much revenue we were losing because of faulty meters?
I
I would
don't,
say that would be on your unaccounted water, right?
yeah, our unaccounted water, I know at Rusty it did, when we did Core & Main did the initial presentation it came to a commission meeting and did it, he basically went through it and he said, I can't remember the exact time frame, but for unaccounted water and with the new meters and the revenue that the bond would be paid for, was like 5 to 10 years, something like that with the new revenue.
It's a big spread.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, you're not, I know you're not, it's not pennies, but, certain ones, and it might have been less than 5 to 10 years. I just, I don't want to
That's
give.
one of the things we were talking about, like, this is a lot of money that the city's spending, and, we didn't really see any, I think me and Marissa were talking about this, we didn't really see any reports or anything showing us what the payback was over time. If you're spending, I think this total bond's gonna be, what, 8 million by the time it's all done or more?
I believe you bonded
We
five.
bonded
We bonded
five.
Five.
So, I mean, we may exceed the bond and may have to go for more, but, like right now with the pricing that Census gave to Core & Main, it's our best chance of getting it done at the 5 million.
So
Okay.
we have spent, what, 1.6 now? 1.6 now?
I believe it's 1.6,
Yeah.
1.7.
1.6.
And we're looking to do 2.7, 2.8,
Yeah,
Uh,
so you're, I'm sorry.
2.5,
2.5.
2.5.
2.5 for the
Say
remainder of the
2.6. I would
equipment,
say
and that's the
2.6.
equipment and installations.
So that's 4.2, so why would we think we would spend another 800K, just roughly? I know they're rough
So,
numbers, but I rounded up.
In the other 800K, I don't know that we'd spend 800,000, but you have to look at adders. when adders
Which
come
now
up.
we've included in the next.
Yeah, but
thing.
they're,
But there is a cost to them when they're utilized, right?
Which
So
is a
right now,
flat
there's
fee
a-
of $250.
that's a
Well,
price,
That's one adder, right? That item, so each item has,
Oh, I thought
I
that
can't-
2.8 had the adders, expected adders in that.
it has the cost of the adders in them,
Uh-huh.
but you're only ever billed if there is a need to use it.
right.
So it's just basically an agreed upon pricing for
But
those.
correct me if this wrong, you did an educated guess of what, based on
I
that
couldn't.
10% and $250 of what that would be?
I,
Where did we come up with 2.6?
so the 2.6 is your meters,
Yep,
your install,
mm-hmm.
and, I think that's all that's on there. Your
No, it'd
meters
be
and
the
install.
price of one adder. Right?
Which was that?
Aren't the adders included in the
No,
total?
I have them all at 0, so.
So
Oh,
that's,
okay.
that
Okay.
2.8 includes no adders.
And so,
Right.
so real quick, just to go back a second, when we talked about the need for the adders to be approved, right?
You're right.
And we got to this conversation because Millville had held back money because they weren't approved.
Right.
So we came in and he said, look, I have to figure out where we're gonna get the money from. Derek and I talked, and I said, our best case scenario is because we went and talked to Census, which is the actual distributor, the product that you're using. And we said, look, we need, if we wanna buy in bulk, special pricing, what's our options? And they came back and said, here's what we can do. So if we were to purchase all the project for the rest of, or all the material for the rest of the project, we would then take that number and bring it down. I believe it was a savings of, and I don't have it in front of me, but we talked about it in the last meeting.
I think something like 16 sticks in my head.
Yeah, it was a
16,000,
significant amount of
yeah,
money.
167.
Yeah, like maybe $167,000, $170,000 in savings. And that, in turn, when we talked about this, you have started a project with a phase 1. So phase 1 now is basically coming to an end once we get these 1,000 meters in. And now the cost of, your install price is going up as well. So what we're trying to do in this effort is, here in this number, is lock in your install price for the rest of the project,
Right,
right?
right.
As much as I, love working with Meter Tech and she could put some earbuds on, I don't wanna keep raising the install price every
Right.
time we do a phase.
Right.
So that was the need to say, hey, let's just lock in a price with Meter Tech, let's lock in a price for the material, and let's bring it in. And that was where we said, okay, we could cover the cost of any predicted 10% of adders by doing that, by saving that 170. You know, is where we could come up with the money. So I don't know that we go over the 5. I don't know that, but we're
And
trying to stay well under it.
Oh, you, go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yep.
Just for clarity here, so, I got a lot of things written down here. So we had 3,600 ordered, commercial and residential, which said, 1,500 waiting. But then we said we had 1,400 in containers.
That's,
It's off by 100.
So we're off by 100 there. I'm
noticed that.
confused there.
I noticed that too.
The, so that, the 1,500 would have been off of, like, probably going off of accounts, a list of accounts. And then when I went in the container in the shed this morning and counted all the meters. And that's where there's 1,405 in the container today.
Okay,
So the 1,500, I may have been saying about
okay,
before I looked
Okay.
at my total.
okay.
That's fair.
And the installer may have some.
And the
on the
installer
truck.
may
Okay,
have some on the
that's
truck.
fair.
all right.
We said we couldn't get through this cycle, and so we wanted to open it up, right? So my question is, in this cycle, is that where most of the missing or damaged water meters, you would say, are? Because that's, to the best of my knowledge, why the previous commission wanted to pursue this, was to make sure that people had water meters that were working.
Yeah, between Center City and South Millville
Okay,
would be the biggest areas of problems. And there are meters, I mean, Tracy's not here, but she could probably give you more exact numbers of the amount of meters that we've been estimating their bill for probably as long as I've been here.
Sure.
Because they refuse to let us in. You know, it's a state law that you have to have a working meter in your
Yes.
house.
Correct.
And you have to allow the city access to make sure that meter's working.
right,
There's people that they get rid of their curb box, so we don't know where their shut off is. They don't answer their doors, so we can't turn their water off for non-payment. We can't do any of that stuff. So these are some of the issues that, once we get to the end of this project, we're gonna have to deal with.
right. That's what I'm
And-
trying to figure out, how are we,
as-
how are we remedying that? Because
How
we're
are we
moving
gonna
on,
remedy that?
we're
Yeah.
moving
So-
on to other houses, but,
Our final, the final option, you know, or how we look at it is, we're gonna have to go to all these houses and find these water lines. Hopefully, the majority of them, we can find the box, or, you know, and we're gonna just go in and we'll put in a meter pit.
What's your current number of problems like that where you just can't? Do you have
I don't
a running
have,
tally?
not for the ones that haven't responded. So the issue accounts I gave were ones that maybe need some plumbing work or
But Tracy
adders
would
things.
know the amount of
Unresponsive.
bad
estimated,
estimated reads, yes.
right,
And
so,
stop, estimated reads and stop meters are kinda like on one list. I wanna say it was around 3,000.
wow, that many.
Like on the estimated list or stop meter list at one point. You
And how
know,
many meters do we have total?
We have around, I think it's 8,000 or 9,000 accounts.
So 8,000, 9,000 accounts, and 3,000 of them are
So a
on
third
constant
are
estimated?
Or estimated.
At one point or another, that some of them still are, some of them, you know, we have been able to fix. I mean, there's been accounts, you know, that eventually the house sells, or, you know, somebody buys it and then, you know, they call us for, you know, they need the water shut off for repairs or whatever, and then we're like, well, that meter hasn't worked for years, so we need to get in there first, and, you know, so we have been able to make some of the repairs. But, you know, when we started this project, that was the number that was given to the, you know, the old commission, like, you know, our meters are way outdated. We have a ton that are not working properly, and, you know, for whatever reason, we haven't always been able to get into these houses. Some of them may have been where, like, it's not that we haven't been able to get in there, but when the reports are run or whatever, you know, maybe they were missed, they weren't getting letters, or, you know, somehow, when, like I said, when they run that report and get the list, that address doesn't show up on the report, or, you know, for some reason, they just keep getting the estimated bill.
But it is about 3,000.
I'm thinking that was the number that Tracy gave, in the beginning of this.
But some of those numbers you're hoping to go down because you're now fixing some.
Yes.
Some of them are legitimate, and then some aren't.
Yeah, some of the calls that we've gotten too, you know, where they said, my bill's never been this high, and we pull up the account and say, well, your old meter hasn't read in 10 years. You've been paying the minimum of $30 a quarter for 10 years. Now you actually have a meter that is registering the amount of water you use, and that's why your bill is what it is.
Right.
And, you know, with these new meters, like, we can take a laptop to their house and show them their daily usage. We can pull a report up, we can show them how much water they use per hour.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of them were like, you know, they said, well, there's no way. And I said, well, something's going on, but look at that, between this hour and this hour, you're using this much water. Overnight, every hour, you're using 10 gallons. They're like, well, there's no way, I'm asleep that time. One was a business. They're like, nobody's there. So we said, okay, you gotta have a leaking toilet or something. They searched the whole building, nothing. They said, okay. They said, there's nothing leaking. I said, well, something's, you know, gotta be leaking. We told them, turn your water off, your main shutoff valve off when you leave at 3 o'clock. When you come in the morning, turn it back on. Call us, we'll go on and we'll look at the account and we'll see if it was still showing usage for every hour. And it wasn't. So we're like, there's something going on. So we told them to do a dye test in your toilet. And I said, because the bathrooms aren't near your offices, so you're not gonna hear the toilet come on, fill up the tank, and shut off once an hour. And that's what was happening.
Okay.
So,
Just that small leak. We all have
Just
it in
that-
our houses where you
yes.
can hear it.
yeah, a
come on.
toilet leak
Yeah.
can cause you a major water bill. You would think it wouldn't, but
Well,
it can be
It can.
the
This-
biggest
It
water
happened to
bill.
us. It did.
Yeah.
This
Yes,
kind
it
of,
can.
this kind of goes back to, I would love to see if you guys could get us that estimate of when the payoff would be. I don't know
Right.
if you have that, like the
So,
estimated
I would
payoff.
love to have that in front of you. I've asked my company for multiple times to give us some sort of study that we could present to councils and commissions, and I have yet to get the answer.
That seems like that's something that would be
Oh,
one of
it
the
would be-
first questions
yeah.
I would ask if I was gonna enter into a project
Definitely
like
helpful.
this.
I can tell you, before I came to Core and Main and took the position I have now, I worked for a utility. Left there as superintendent. I know this product, we use this product, we have 1,500 accounts, it was a very small utility. We did a 2-year install rate, and within 5 years, we seen our money back.
Okay.
So I don't have anything written, anything proved,
Yeah.
and I don't know that I could provide you with that because I've been asking for the same thing to supply.
I mean, that's kind of, should be one of your biggest selling points as a
100%,
company.
yeah,
I mean, when you're coming
100%,
into
but,
promote this.
At the end of the day, I mean, anybody can tell you that a 30 to 35-year-old, 25 to 35-year-old meter is running 25 to 30% slow. And you're losing that revenue. is what you're-
I'm not saying that you're not. I believe you for sure, but I would
Right.
love to see a study or something that shows
Sure.
exactly when your payoff is and,
Yep.
and here's why.
Yeah, and I have the presentation that Rusty gave in the beginning, and he
Okay.
did give. It might have just been him speaking, but he did give some insight into how, in his mind, what he thought when the project would be paid off. So I can forward you guys
Sure.
Oh,
that
that would be
presentation, and you guys can watch
That'd be
it.
good. So, something that the public may not be aware of that has me baffled with this whole thing was that in 2023, this was done by a purchase order rather than a formal contract. And that, that there was no formal contract that was approved by the governing body. So because of a lack of a formal contract, which I found hard to believe, to be honest, I'm troubled because there's no definition of scope, risk allocation, and then some of the questions I have. So because we don't have, a formal contract with Phase 1 stock, what terms, I guess, govern storage responsibility? You mentioned a container. So installation responsibility, damage or loss prior to the actual installation, you know, the contractual stuff, warranty enforcement.
Warranty of the meter?
So for example, we mentioned a container. I don't know what that means exactly. Is that like a pod?
Yeah, like a Connex container.
Okay, so when I look at the warranty, it's very vague. It says it has to have proper storage. Like what constitutes proper storage? What happens if the pod freezes? What happens if we have issues with these meters? Who's liable?
So right now, freeze wouldn't be a concern because there's no water in the meter. And I think that what we supplied for the warranty information is referencing once it's installed in a home.
Okay,
So-
there's a subsection though about storage itself.
Okay. all right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't see it, there's zero risk of them freezing because there's no water in them. But yeah, as far as,
I guess because it doesn't outline who's liable for what. Like even insurance. Who's insuring them? Is it the city? Is it the company? While they're in the pod, where's the insurance?
Where is the pod?
Where Avenue.
Oh, okay, so we have it on city
Yes.
property.
Yeah, Meter Tech brought it down and.
So that's what I'm asking. Who's legally responsible for the meters while they're in storage? If it's not our pod, but it's on our property,
good point.
you know, those are concerns that I have. Like, does that liability transfer upon delivery? We don't have a contract. I don't know. Do we get confirmation of acceptance of the storage methods? Like, did anybody here say, yeah, we could put that pod here, that's okay? Did that ever go through legal? So these are all of the issues that I've honestly had with this. These are things that should have been addressed in 2023 before we did a bond. There should have been a contract. And now 3 years later, here we are trying to figure out, you know.
And I'm going to jump in here, and I'm not trying to cut you off, but I did look at the warranty information for temperature, and I think it was from minus something up to 156 degrees. Now, do these pods get hotter than 156 degrees? I know cars can,
Oh, yeah, sure, closed up, yeah, I would agree with that.
so
I
if
think
these are
it's
in,
I mean, I believe it's vented. Yeah, I would imagine it gets hot in there. I would.
yeah, so if
dispute
the
that
pods
with you.
get, you know, I mean, you know, we all know that cars get very hot.
Sure.
And if these pods get over 156 degrees and pieces are damaged,
So if anything is damaged upon, I mean, we're gonna warranty it out. So there
is
is.
that in writing anywhere
No.
that you're going to
It's not in
warranty?
writing.
So
a-
it's, if you're pulling out a box of melted, we're gonna warranty them. It's not in writing, so just to go back to answer your question, because I don't wanna seem like I'm not answering it. But if there's an issue where the storage is the issue right now, in a freak situation, if they were to have melted, then yes, we would warranty them. But I'm gonna tell you, and I think Christina could talk on this is the common setup for all projects, is to go into storage containers. And we have projects throughout the whole entire state of New
You've
Jersey.
never had one melt?
For
or
myself, no, I've
damaged?
never had one melt. I don't know about you, but, you're out,
States.
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess,
you're in
you know,
different states.
you know, melting, I mean, like, you know,
I
but
agree with you. You
stolen,
have very
you know,
valid
all of
points.
these kind of
Yes,
things
you
have.
very valid points, yes.
And the fact that none of this really went through legal review is just baffling to me. I guess my, you know, when you look at all of this stuff, you know, continued cost escalation without any contractual limits is really what's got me
Is it
kind of
do-
concerned.
Do you guys normally sign contracts when you do things for municipalities?
So I've done a lot of AMI projects, and that's what this is considered. You know, we did infrastructure and the whole nine, and this is usually how this goes.
Just by purchase order?
Just by purchase order, yes. So,
Wow.
Yeah, because the,
Brock is,
Yeah.
go ahead, Brock.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking at the initial resolution, and it does reference a state contract, and that's the ESC NJ contract.
Okay.
Was this awarded pursuant to a state contract?
I believe,
the initial purchase of, everything the meters and the radios were bought off of that contract. That's why it didn't have to go out to bid.
yeah, that was a,
Because it was bought from state contract. It was,
It was a co-op that doesn't
educational
exist anymore.
co-op, I believe, that they bought the first round from.
it would be the same as how we would be trying to purchase this through Sourcewell.
Okay.
Do we know what the IT burden is for these? Like, do we have enough space on servers? Do we have, is there an IT burden? Is there
No.
for
All of it's
the
hosted on
computers?
our end. Yeah.
Okay.
They
So
own their
you're-
own like cell
Yeah,
frequency.
so all the infrastructure and the hosting and the data storage is all on Core Main side.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Is that a subscription, a subscription
there's a
that?
yearly fee for that, yes,
Yeah.
they're called SaaS fees, and there
What's
is a
that?
yearly
Can
fee.
you tell me what that is?
It's just basically covers all the network hosting, all the storage, all that. So, your cost to have the licensing, so we operate on our own license frequency. So, if you were to take like a cell network or something like that, other meters, other companies use cellular. We use our own frequency, so part of that is you're paying to be on that license frequency. So-
I guess my question was, how much is that subscription fee?
So,
It's like 25.
you are under 5,000 meters right now, but eventually at the end of the project, you'd be over. So 0 to 5,000 is one price, 5,000 is over. So right now, I believe you're probably around 12.5, and then it's probably going to be around 15.
Per month.
No, for
Per
a
year.
Per
year,
year?
yeah.
15,000.
15,000 per year.
Yeah, once it's finally completed. That 0 to 5 until you've
Well,
pushed
that must be in a
threshold.
contract somewhere.
That has to be in the original, yeah, the SaaS
Okay.
fees, yeah, all that was spelled out, yeah. So, yeah, you pay your initial upfront and then you get billed for it annually afterwards. And then it increases 3% each year, all that was spelled out in the original
Okay, we need that.
purchase.
Okay.
And how long is that good for?
The SaaS fees,
Yeah,
so you should expect them to go 3% yearly,
Okay.
for the next 20
Afterwards,
years
yeah.
or
And
whatever.
it can't be raised more than 3%.
no,
That's capped, okay.
yep, it's capped at the 3%. That's
Do we
what
have
they're
any, and this might be a question for Brock, I'm not sure, but do we have any recourse for the homeowners, landlords that are refusing to let us in? Like,
Yes.
are we shutting their water off? Are we doing anything
We
to get
can.
fines or anything like that?
We can,
We
but
do have recourse.
We do have recourse.
Okay, okay.
We do have recourse.
Okay,
yes,
Brock.
we've, and some of the letters, because we've sent multiple letters, not just Meter Tech, from the city to the area that they're installing, saying that you need to schedule your appointment. The first round was, by December 1st. If you don't, you could, incur a fine or your water could be shut off or something like that.
We haven't done any of that yet, right?
We have, so we sent initial ones saying, we've sent 2 rounds of letters trying to get them to make their appointment, saying it's not a scam. Meter Tech, if they haven't contacted you, here's their number, contact them. And then we're to the point where for some of those, well, for the accounts in that area of town that have yet to respond through multiple attempts, we have to decide.
Well, that's what I'm
by
asking. We
state-
haven't shut off anybody or
No, but by
fined
state
anybody
law,
yet.
we're not allowed to turn water off between October
Right.
and April.
Right.
So we can't really, we can incur a fine possibly if they don't right now,
But
but
we
we
haven't
can't.
done that yet either.
No, and we
Okay.
can't shut their water off until after April.
Okay.
So I would, if you don't mind, I would say on every project, you end up with your problem accounts at the end. And then at that point, it's really a discussion between the utility and ourselves about how we want to push that for those accounts at that point. So I'd say you almost are like kind of weeding through the ones, getting the mass done, and then worrying about, the issues at the end. And then we always welcome a little teeth behind our letters or emails or shut-off notices from the utility. I mean, that just helps us get our work completed, so we always welcome the support.
It was alluded to me, and maybe I misunderstood, that there was a way to install these, should somebody not be compliant about, letting you guys in, letting the Meter Tech guys.
Is that the outside well you were
That's the
talking
outside
about?
well you're
Meter pit.
talking about,
Meter
yes.
pit.
So
Meter
that,
pit.
that can be,
Then that would be something that we would do. The
okay,
city would go and dig up the service, shut their line off, cut in a new hanger, put the pit out in the meter outside, and then they would receive a letter basically stating that the meter inside their house is no longer the responsibility of the city. If anything happens to that meter or the hanger or the plumbing, it is the responsibility of the homeowner.
Okay.
Your meter is now outside, and any billing will be done from the meter that is outside.
Okay.
Okay. So that's as a last resort, we can
Yes.
do that, all right.
I'm just going to throw a question for Trish real quick. You were attempting to say something, and I'm sorry that we were in the middle of something. That 2.6
Yes.
and the adders, what were you going to add to
I
that?
was just gonna clarify, yeah, so the adders on the quote, we're just locking down the price per, they just don't have the quantity. So when you thought that the quantity of the adders was in the quote, it was not.
Oh, okay,
Those were locked in,
at the price.
at the price, which
Okay.
would correct some outstanding invoices that we haven't paid because the adder
Gotcha.
cost wasn't part of the phase one. So we're just locked in at these prices listed on their quote.
And we're hoping the adders don't come over the 800,000, which, just quick math, we're around 250,000 if we're at 10%, $250, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
So
right.
just in transparency, we did talk about the commercial account. So on the adders, there is a survey line item. And that allows meter tech's team to go out, do the survey, see what they need. So you're talking 30 years of progress in meters now. So if you got an old meter that's 24 inches long and, the new replacement's 20. So in that survey, you're gonna be saying, okay, we need to come in, we need this flange, we need a spool piece, which takes up that 4 inches. We have talked about that and covered it, and Derek had said at that point, he would like, once Meter Tech does the surveys and hands over that information, they would then take that and purchase them themselves, so there is no markup, there's no nothing
Okay,
on that.
perfect.
And we've all kind of agreed that would be the best route to go.
And you did sort of allude to most of the add-ons or adders or whatever we're calling them today. A lot of those homes have already been attempted.
Yeah, there's some that we have done.
And in
paid
theory,
for, but we have.
that goes
yeah.
down as the houses get newer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So,
Plumbing is
in good
condition.
Okay.
reason to.
All right, can I jump in? I don't mean to beat revenue to death, but as a city, we want to be responsible to the taxpayers' money. We've done 2,100 meters so far, and they were in areas where we probably were having meters that weren't working properly. Have we seen more revenue compared to last year? What's the revenue difference? Do we know?
I don't off the top of my, I would have to, that'd be a Tracy question.
Like, the only reason I ask is because we want to be responsive to the public when they say, hey, we're spending, $5 million for these fancy meters, and, we like to go back to them and say, hey, they paid for themselves.
Right. Yeah.
This isn't money that we're just wasting so we can see who's taking a shower at 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We want to show them that this is actually they're gonna pay for themselves, and, people who are not paying for water are gonna be paying for water.
I mean, without the numbers, I would say yes, we have seen an increase just on the phone calls for the accounts that have been estimated for 3 to 5 or 10 years, and now they're getting a bill and they're
We could
saying,
easily look month to month from.
yeah, and they
last-
could say, I never paid this much money. My water bill's always been $30, now it's 41.
I mean,
Tracy probably has an end of year for 2024 and an end of year 2025, I would
Right, we
assume,
should.
right?
There should be a difference, I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would she
Yeah.
have a total revenue for the water meters or no? Maybe not, I don't know.
Well, you
Yeah,
could,
you should be able to run reports, she would know best, I don't know the districts and.
well, you could look
know,
December from year to year, and you
sometimes
should
it
see a
might
difference.
not be exactly calendar year because of how the billing cycles go,
Hmm.
but we might be able to look at.
The
you know,
same timeframe
the same
this year,
timeframe,
timeframe.
April last year versus April.
Yeah.
And even if you don't do the zones, if you just do the whole city,
Yeah.
it should show some increase, right?
Yeah, she
Whole
gives,
thing being equal, yeah.
yeah, because we get total revenue from water meters yearly that I have to put in the water audit when I do
Oh.
the water audit every year. So she does get the revenue, we go to her every year for those answers, so.
As we put more and more in, we should be able to see, hey, this
Yeah.
is what I did some quick math here, and it can add up quickly.
Yeah,
So if you don't mind too, the other part is, obviously revenue is one of the things that is the most lucrative point of a meter change out. But also, you're putting in a smart meter. So for the residents, actually, when I stopped to drop something off over at Ware Avenue, I was talking to Jason over there. We're gonna set him up with the all alarms reports. So weekly, he'll be getting reports, and whomever else wants them, we can send them to him. He'll get continuous flow. He'll get no water. He'll get reverse flow. So if a resident were to have a leak and not be home, the utility's going to get an email that says, hey, for X amount of hours, it's usually 24 hours, they've used, and whatever the set point is we set it at, they've used this, there's an issue there, right? And so now they get a work order to go out there and say, hey, go check this out for the homeowner. And on top of that, if someone were to pull their meter, right, it's still gonna read if they set it on a shelf somewhere. It gives you an empty pipe alarm. If they were to turn it around to try to get their revenue back, it gives you a reverse flow alarm. It gives you a high flow alarm. It gives you a low flow alarm. So there's a lot to this meter other than just increasing revenue
Well,
that safeguards the residents.
So I had a house one time that the pipe froze, and for 4 days, nobody was there. Water was
Everywhere.
flowing through everywhere, so that would have been caught, something like that would be
Yes.
caught.
Would have
Yeah,
been hot.
and then the other thing that, since we did talk about freezing, is the meters that you base the majority of meters that you have are SR2s, the old style brass plate meters. They have a freeze plate on the bottom that's cut in fours, and that's just designed to blow apart if it freezes. And it's to do that so the homeowner's plumbing doesn't, The iPearl is a plastic outer shell meter that has two notches that just basically crack and open, and it allows the pressure off, so nothing else breaks. But it actually reduces the amount of water that's going into the customer's house too.
And you don't have to replace the entire meter? when
Oh,
that
no, the
happens?
No, you
meters,
do.
once it's
Oh,
done,
okay,
yeah.
the whole meter's done.
But for the cost of the meter that you're replacing for the iPro, you're basically same as the plate, the chamber, the gaskets for the SR2, the old one.
What's the average on the batteries? I'm curious.
So, 20 years, it's 15-year guaranteed, 5-year prorated on the warranty, but.
How long do they last usually?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing iPros, the original iPros are at 17 years now.
Okay.
I've warranted them out at 10 years. I mean, doesn't mean that you don't see them commonly at that, but I have seen them before their life cycle that we warranty them. Even if the display goes bad on them, it's warranted, so
Are the batteries something the homeowner can change, or is that something that?
all in one.
Okay.
Yeah, the utility would pull them, replace the meter or whatever the case may be. Normally, they're calling me and saying, hey, this is the situation with the meter. I say, all right, swap it out, we'll warranty it, So we send it back to North Carolina to Census directly.
And then they give us a new meter.
Yeah, and then they'll do their, inquiry on it, and they'll send it back. And, we have some that, they won't replace frozen, obviously, we've tried that, or damage where someone has taken a hammer to the screen, they won't replace that, but they are very fair in what they replace. And that includes the radio that's on the exterior of the home too as well, is a 20-year warranty.
The battery's warranted for 20 years.
20 years.
So after 20 years, when all these batteries start going, we have to start paying for more meters.
For me,
Yeah, you'd
Yes.
be, right.
Okay, they have a shelf life of 20 years. Now, does this warranty include from the install date, or does it include from the date that we actually receive them?
So I'm not gonna give you that answer until I look at the sheet, because when I was reading it yesterday, as I was driving, trying to send it to Derek, I believe it's from the ship date, but I don't have that, I don't know that, 100%.
So this is probably a 3-year project at least, getting this all done by,
Yeah, but you don't have, so, two-part answer on that. 3-year project, yes, but I would say that if we were to have the material and have the cycles opened up like we've talked about, I think at our rate of completion, we were under a year out if we did the math correctly.
is there anything stopping us from opening up the entire city? Is there a reason we don't want to do that?
No,
no.
Okay, so we could.
yes,
we don't have the
that's what
product.
we are, that's
We don't
what
have
we
the
want
So
to.
that's what we want to do.
That's why we're here to, we're trying to get the okay to purchase the remainder, of the material.
It does strike me a little weird that the 20-year warranty, that in 20 years, we're going to be replacing pretty much all the meters. Is that normal for this type of product?
Yeah, I mean, in all reality, for your older meters, you should have been doing that. They had a 15-year shelf life.
And we're at
for
33,
accuracy.
35.
So we don't have to trade them out at 20.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell
As
you.
long as they're
Only if
working.
the battery stops.
I'm gonna tell you, I came from a very cheap utility, and we weren't replacing them if they were still working. I can tell you that. You know,
No, I only
your
mean if the battery
accuracy-
goes bad.
Yeah, your accuracy and your warranty go away at 20 years, right? So if you have a meter now, they're not guaranteeing the accuracy on it. So what it comes down to is if you have a meter that's running fast and you have a dispute and there's some sort of issue, then Census is guaranteeing that. I have not yet been involved in one of them, but they're guaranteeing that accuracy for 20 years.
Okay.
And outside the 20 years of the warranty on the battery, I mean, you're just, house money at that point if it's still running, which I've seen them.
Well, it's another consideration that, at 20 years, when the batteries will start going bad, you're starting to replace those meters, and that just kind of goes into the whole cost, cost effectiveness. So, something to consider.
Sure.
Anything else?
I'm good. I don't have, I mean, if you, I don't know if you have any other questions.
No, not right now. We definitely need to figure out who's insuring you, so.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that originally, by starting a phase one and doing this, it, I believe, cost us more money in the long run. When we got the original price for the entire city, if we would have locked it in then, the install rate would have never changed from the get-go. And the adders and all this stuff, and it, may have all been taken care of from the first place, but it was kind of, I think, rushed once we decided, let's do a phase one and see if we like it.
Right.
I mean, which I don't see why you're gonna spend the amount of money we spent on the phase one and then turn around and take it out. So, to me, I think maybe it would have been better to just, here's the bond, here's what we need, let's get the project done.
That's how it should have happened,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And, because you bonded, that bond is only good for a meter upgrade. You can't use that money for anything else. Am I right on that, Trish?
Right.
So, that's what the money's there for. It should have, in my opinion, been just citywide from the get-go.
All right, we can't go backwards, we
Right.
can only go forwards, but now that's
Right.
why we're
That's
being
why we're here.
very
and this is-
diligent with our, dotted i's and crossed t's.
Right, and like
So-
I said, this is our best chance to get the project done for what we bonded, for the amount we bonded.
So my question, one real quick thing, and Brock can chime in on this too. The concerns we do have about the warranty, are we able to craft a contract that just delineates who's responsible for what? I know you say things are done generally on purchase order, but if we have legitimate concerns, how do we address those? And maybe Brock can jump in?
Okay, you're asking me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, as I understand it, this was a state contract. It also was a service that's not provided by many other vendors. And it's kind of if you want to do this type of project, you're kind of stuck with what the contract is. And Derek and the other gentleman, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this may be one of those situations. There are other ones that we have that are similar to that, where there's only one game in town, and either you dance by their tune, or else you're not going to be able to do the deal.
Well, he backs me in a corner there, I will say, but, so, yes, he is correct. By buying off of a state contract, which you would be doing in this situation under Sourcewell, we are the only ones that have the full-on licensed AMI system out there. And Core and Main is the only distributor for Census in this area, or in the state. There are competitors, but they're cellular and different meters that don't meet the same specs as what we have. So, yeah, I think he's correct there. To go back to what you said, there was a gentleman in the last meeting that we met with, he was the engineer, I think.
Wayne?
And he had some concerns. And to go back to what you had said about the warranty and who's covering them, if we were to purchase all this and put out a PO out there, we talk to the distributor, we can do all this as long as we take them over 6 months. So if one of the concerns is, and I hear you, and I think you have a valid concern for the town, is that we don't want too much product there if something happens.
Right.
So he had mentioned bringing in 1,000 meters a month, which is probably, right about to keep us going, and stocking that unit. We could do that, and that also helps with the ship date on the warranty. It pushes every one a month out, so that gives you those additional months.
And you feel like
as
we
well.
have 6,000 more-ish?
Yeah,
We
it's
have-
under 6.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
5,060 residential,
And then-
or 5/8 and 188 1-inch.
So we could divide that
between
number
inch and a
by
half,
6
yeah.
months, right?
Yeah.
And think it's gonna take me, once I put the order in, it's gonna take a little bit to get product moving. But I can extend the ship dates out for up to 6 months after the PO. So that would help with some of that,
Put
you know.
that in, okay.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if I can add something else, when you procure goods and services under the state contract, that's under an exception to the local public contracts law. In other words, you don't have to go out to bid. And one of the reasons why that's permitted is because the state already went out to bid. And apparently this company won that particular bidding process. So because there's a state contract, we don't have to go out to bid a second time, as long as we follow the state contract.
Marissa, have you seen the state contract?
No?
All right. Maybe some of these issues are actually in the state contract.
Yeah, so the one that we're looking to do this under now, because the ECSNJ is expired, I would have loved to have stayed with the same one, but it's Sourcewell. So,
The contract number's on the quote at the
yeah,
top.
so you'll see if you were to go on Sourcewell and look up pricing for 5/8 1-inch meters or whatever, or we obviously have to come under that pricing to be awarded, and because of the special pricing, we're well under that. The radios are on there, installs on there, everything that we have suggested is under that contract. So, I will say this, one of the things that we talked about is, Census has given me special pricing till the 31st of January. I need to get an order in by then. So I don't know when you guys meet again. I don't know how fast the Sourcewell can be awarded. I know I used to work with Sourcewell. I think it's an advertisement, but I don't know the timeframe. So I just wanted to put that out there. I don't need a response on that. Just wanted to give you what we're up against. Certainly, we could buy product after the 31st, but it's not gonna be at this getting it
Right.
right.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Now, if for some reason, I think we meet on the 20th, if we say yes and everything's a go, we're talking about, we have a sit and wait for 10 days for some weird municipal law, and it's February 2nd. I'm hoping that, long as we're showing that everything is in there, but we'll see. Because that's gonna make a difference too.
I mean, I will go back again.
Right.
But.
Well,
just-
let's deal with that after
Yes.
the meeting.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, we started this process, well before Christmas, having these conversations and trying to push for the special pricing, so.
And thank you, we started this process 2 weeks ago.
Less?
But I do appreciate the work you did prior,
It
but
keeps us all sharp.
absolutely, absolutely. But thank you,
So,
I do
yes.
appreciate it.
Yeah, anything else I can answer, Derek has my number and contact, please.
We
Any
appreciate everything.
Yes,
We're
very
not
much
trying to
so.
grill
So
you
much.
just for fun.
You
I
guys
mean,
are doing a great job of answering all the concerns, trust me. So, and you have a job to do, and, I'm sure you get crucified when you do it wrong in others' opinions, so.
And I hope Derek did tell you 1:30, I hope he told you 1 o'clock for today.
I did not,
Oh.
1:30.
I wouldn't have been late, so.
Did I tell you what that? No.
You two can discuss
I-
that later.
Thank you.
I emailed someone for the time, so.
Oh, it wasn't me. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Yes,
guys.
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Derek.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's continue.
Resolution authorizing an amendment to service contracts 2024 and 2025 2025 with Rivel LLC for information technology management and VoIP phone services to correct award for additional on-site IT staffing coverage.
I think this one's going to take a little bit more time.
All right, so, this is a previous, this is not us. We entered into a contract with Revell for a couple things. One was for their services, and one was to have somebody on site. In 2023, 2024, 2025. We were not there in any of them. We paid the Revell contract, but not the on-site part of it. Revell didn't notice. We didn't notice. Luckily, though, that money that is coming up now has already been budgeted. Luckily for us, that money has been put aside. It's in the budget. It's there. Just for some reason, they never invoiced us. We never saw it. They never saw it. So that's what we're catching up on, our obligation to pay the on-site IT guy, Ricky. Ricky's still getting paid, so Ricky hasn't went 2.5 years without getting. Yeah, he does look.
He's living
he
in a
does
box
look
behind
skinny,
the,
but he does eat. So
He lives in a box behind City Hall.
yes, but yeah, it was a miss. It was missed by Revell and us. So we're just righting a wrong that we're due to pay, but we do have the money. For some reason, luckily, like I said, it was in the budget, so it's there. We just never paid it. So
Yep,
Okay.
I hope that was a good enough.
it
summary.
was.
great.
You explained
was.
That
very
was
well.
Thank you.
amazing.
I'm glad Ricky's still eating.
Yeah, I wonder sometimes.
All right.
Resolution authorizing the purchasing agent to award a purchase order for the City of Millville final phase of meter upgrade project.
All right. Should we talk about that anymore?
It's a long discussion.
An hour's worth.
Yes.
I feel a little better
Good.
than I did coming in today. A little better,
So
you know.
if that is approved on Tuesday, we can do the purchase order the next day. So
Okay, because that's what he was asking about.
That's what he was asking,
Okay.
yes, okay.
we don't have to wait, there's no time.
There's no
after.
time
Okay.
period,
We
all
can
right.
issue the PO the next day.
Perfect,
That's
thank you.
Thank you.
I tell you, when you talk, sometimes I'm like, I hear voices,
Yeah.
so.
Sometimes it sounds like it's coming from over there.
I know it does sound like it's
Yeah.
coming from over there, the way the room is. Thank you, Trish.
You're welcome.
Resolution appointing municipal assistant attorney.
Any comments? This is for Rick D. Michelle from D. Michelle and D.
Yep.
Michelle.
Yep.
Very excited for Rick to come on board. We've met him multiple times and very happy to have him part of the team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Resolution authorizing tax and utility adjustments.
That's just the standard one.
Generic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's every month you
Yep.
submit something for every meeting.
So, not to go backwards, I am going backwards, and I do apologize. The resolution for assistant attorney, we are looking to upgrade it to not to exceed 60,000 instead of
Yes.
25,000.
Okay.
Right, okay,
So I just want to let you guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
Just so we don't have to come back every 3 months.
Yep.
right.
All right, very good, thank you.
Resolution authorizing special assessment of municipal liens for certain properties incurred by Millville relating to board and secure.
No,
Any comments?
standard protocol.
Okay. Resolution appointing business administrator.
Rick, would you like to speak to this?
Yeah, so we're going to have a business administrator coming on in next meeting, probably start the following Monday. Yeah, so,
I'll just make some comments. So Mr. Couchy is moving to economic development, very confident in his abilities to help propel this city forward
Yeah.
in economic development. He's going to devote all of his time to that. So the new business administrator, we've all met with him multiple times, and we're very confident in him. The city is we're moving toward a more professional and a more professional way that the city operates. And we think that this new business administrator, Roy Bitterman, is one big step forward in that endeavor.
Very, very intelligent gentleman.
Anybody else?
Looking forward to working with Roy.
Working with him,
Yeah.
yes.
Very forward-thinking, IT background as well.
Yes.
It's all important, moving forward to the future.
A resolution authorizing professional service contract with Hardenberg Insurance Group to provide insurance broker of record services, general workman's compensation.
All right, so there was already a RFP for this. There's always confusion, I understand, every year. This isn't a major thing. There's a couple different insurance things. There's an insurance broker of record for our health benefits. There's a risk management one, and then there's the ones for workman's comp. So we just didn't have the resolution last time for this because there was just a confusion. So we're just adding this on. They were the lower contract, so that's about it.
All right, anyone else? All right, that's the end of our resolutions. I want to open this time up for any thing that commissioners would like to bring up as far as new business.
I don't have anything, Mayor.
Nothing?
Mayor, no.
Nothing? Okay. Madam Clerk, is there any new business?
Not right now, Mayor.
All right. We have now reached the public comment portion of our meeting. We have anyone who would like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and address and your concerns. Please limit your concerns to approximately 5 minutes.
Okay.
Seeing nobody approach the podium, no, I'm kidding.
Good afternoon, Steve Soloff. I'm from Vineland. For those who don't know, I run a information project about local elections here in Cumberland County. Before I get started, just a point of clarification. How are public comments supposed to go moving forward? Because in Vineland, it seems to be super strict, like only speech, no back and forth. If you go to Lawrence Township, it can almost turn into a cage match. But here it seems to be a little bit of the speech and then question and answer if appropriate.
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, during agenda questions, we go back and forth. We can go back and forth during open comments. It's generally, we will answer your question if we choose to during our comments of commissioners at the end. We try not to get into a back and forth. You're a very nice gentleman, Steve, but not everyone is as polite and nice as you. So when you get in that back and forth, it kind of devolves into a little bit chaotic with some people. So hopefully, if you ask questions, the commissioners during their final comments would answer those for you.
Okay, sure. This is set up very speech-like, but if you have questions, please ask them. So the reason I'm here this afternoon is to raise awareness about fire district elections and the broader reality facing local fire and EMS services in the area. Millville itself has its city fire department, I believe, but it's important to recognize that Millville doesn't exist in isolation. Neighboring fire districts regularly provide mutual aid, and Millville benefits from and supports that network more than some residents may realize. For example, Laurel Lake Fire District reported at a recent meeting that they handled 8 calls from Millville. Cumberland Station 23, which actually has a Millville address, is also part of this ecosystem, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if mutual aid is occurring there as well. Port Elizabeth isn't far either, and I'm pretty sure their meeting didn't occur this month because I went at the posted time, which itself highlights how difficult it can be for the public to track what's going on across these districts. When I first started researching fire districts, I was honestly told by some people that they weren't particularly interesting or worth much attention, but as I dug deeper through meetings, interviews, and direct conversations, a very different picture emerged. In my interview with Laurel Lake Fire District Secretary Casey Catalano, who regularly was at his secretary desk until 2 a.m. renovating websites And during a meeting with the Port Norris Fire District, where they handed me a lawn sign for recruitment, it became clear that these fire districts are struggling. That understanding really solidified last night at the Morris River Township meeting, where Cumberland Station 23 Secretary Lillian Johnson, along with others involved, confirmed that this struggle is not isolated. Multiple districts are dealing with staffing shortages, recruitment challenges, and the need for more public engagement. And importantly, they expressed a strong interest in collaborating moving forward. This is why I see a real opportunity right now. Fire district elections are coming up soon. Turnout is typically very low, under 2%, and there are often open commission seats. But beyond voting, there's a broader need for people to step up, as I was told at my first fire district meeting that I was the second person from the public to show up in 12 years. So whether it's serving as commissioners, becoming firefighters, or EMS volunteers, helping with fundraising, or simply paying attention a bit to what's going on, fire districts seem to need some attention. I do want to briefly flag the timeline reality too, because it affects how much awareness we can realistically build. The election is about a month away, but candidate signatures won't be submitted for about another week, followed by processing time. That leaves about 2 weeks to conduct outreach, organize information in a way that's understandable and marketable, and promote things like a candidate forum, which I have scheduled for February 7th at the Millville Public Library from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. After that, residents then have about 2 weeks to review the information before casting ballots, and that's assuming active participation and available information from all parties involved. So I'm currently working on nonpartisan efforts to raise awareness, including the aforementioned Fire District Candidate Forum, radio outreach, social media articles, etc. I'm not here to advocate for any candidate or outcome. I'm here because this system works best when people know it exists and understand how they can participate. If anyone here, commissioners, city staff, fire district representatives, or residents want to collaborate, share information, or help get the word out about elections, recruitment, or fundraising efforts, I'm very open to helping. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Stephen.
So, I can address some of that. So I'll start off by saying that I'm not really too familiar with the internal structure of the fire districts. I know Millville, Bridgeton, and Vineland are not fire districts. We are municipalities. The fire districts are the outlying, municipalities, like you mentioned. We do have mutual aid agreements which exist within the county. Millville has mutual aid agreements with pretty much every municipality, depending on location and area of the county. At no point would we ever not respond mutual aid wise. And it's absolutely correct that there is a shortage of personnel countrywide. It is not just Millville. It is not just the county. It's not just the state. It's everywhere. I encourage everybody to get out and volunteer. We need volunteers at Millville Fire. We need them. They need all these sending districts, the outlying districts, are struggling because it's dwindling. The class periods and learning times to become a firefighter have been extended. It's a long period of time. It's a lot of hard work. You got to take the test just to be a volunteer. I've done it way back. It's a lot different than it was when I was in. As far as EMTs and stuff like that, we don't have a volunteer rescue squad or EMT squad in Millville anymore, but we do have per diems. We have paid staff, and we're always looking for per diems, so to speak. as far as I know, we also, are mutual aid for ambulances for some of the districts. Not all. It depends on the distance, right? Because, depends on the distance that they are. And some municipalities use other, it's kind of a pecking order, like we would be third or fourth in line as opposed to first. But that's just how the mutual aid agreements work. But as far as the election, that we don't elect fire district people here. We're just, and neither is Birch Center Violin. It's different. It's a different thing. And like I said, I am not familiar with the structure and internal, how they go on in the fire districts. So, to help. I hope.
All right, and seeing no one at the podium, I'm going to close the public, oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Laura Burns. I wasn't going to get up and speak. I was just going to tell you each individual, but seeing you're getting flack for the 1 o'clock agenda meeting, I love it. You guys were thorough, talking to each other. I think it's a great idea. And it'll be beneficial to the people the residents, they can go on YouTube before the regular meeting, see what was discussed, understand better. I love the idea. I think it's great. It's good for retirees, but they still have YouTube and the TV. And I love how you guys talk everything out, thoroughly ask questions, and I'm really impressed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think this was Rick's idea, wasn't it? Or Commissioner, I should say Commissioner Cott. Was that Commissioner
Then I
Cott's
love it
idea?
even more.
And I did notice you took your jacket off, so are you warming up now?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I think it's a great idea, too. But now, seeing no one at the podium, sorry about that, I didn't know you were getting up. I'm going to close the public comment portion of the meeting, and let's move on to comments of commissioners. Let's start with Commissioner Taylor.
So, I also like the 1 o'clock. I try to be at City Hall almost every day. So I'm usually here. And I like that this is what the work sessions are for. Back and forth, questioning,
Use your words.
yeah, I'm trying. Presentations, sorry. And, it gives us more time than an hour before the other meetings. It gives us that extra bit of time to think about what we're asking, to think about what we're doing, and really answer the questions that the public want us to answer or ask. So, I'm for it.
Commissioner Ranella.
Yeah. Just a lot of can't go backwards, can only go forwards mentality. Seeing a lot of things in 10 days, forward motion. And as I've said to each one of you up here, I think the goal is to right the ship. And that's what these work sessions are for, to see collectively how we can do that. So, thank you.
Commissioner Khan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Kott. I apologize.
So that's okay. I didn't know if you were going me, Carol. I don't know what you were doing. Like you're
Who
jumping
wants to
so.
go first? You want to go first, Carol? Commissioner Kosovo.
I
I'll
can
change
just
you.
say, I like this idea. I think it's a relaxed scenario. We discuss, we get knowledge. I got more knowledge. I mean, I already had that presentation, but it's a great way of, I get your input, I get your input, yours, and I get Marissa's, and it's wonderful, because it's just a relaxed scenario. We're not rushed, we're not anything. So I think it's gonna be a positive thing. I really do like it.
And we still want to encourage the public to come out.
Absolutely.
Everybody,
Please come out. Yeah.
come out.
Commissioner Taylor, it's not your turn,
I'm
right?
sorry. I apologize.
And Vice Mayor Kott.
Yeah, I mean, once again, we're just, not to reiterate everything that everybody's saying, but yes, it's refreshing that I love this time too, because it gives us a weekend, it gives the residents a weekend to digest it, and come, and I hope that brings more people out, right? I hope more people are questioning, I hope more people are interested, and listen, we're gonna have to answer more questions because of it, right? But that's what government's for, right? It's for us to answer your questions and be held accountable. And I love that we discuss things, whether we agree them or not. We're just, all five of us, I truly believe, are looking forward to the best thing in Millville. And it just makes, it's so exciting and refreshing. And I want to thank all you guys as we move down this road of city government.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Cott. I'm going to briefly talk about some things. I know we've been here a while, so I'm just very briefly, I'm going to save my more elaborate comments for Tuesday. But economic development's going very well. Joe Couchy is going to be joining me, leading up economic development, and I'm very, very confident in his abilities to help take us to the next level there. The fifth floor, we are upping our enforcement efforts for apartments that are illegal apartments and for unpermitted work in the city. So Tuesday night, I'm gonna give a bigger report as far as what's expected of the public when they want to do work in the city. But we've already found, I think, 2 or 3 illegal apartments in just this past 10 days. And unpermitted work, we found 2 or 3 examples of that. So that is working already. It's something that we weren't focusing on. That's a new focus. And working with engineering, just working with them to make them as efficient as possible. They do a great job up there, and I'm here to support them and to make them be as good as they can be up there. So that's all I have. And I just need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Make the motion.
Second?
And the meeting is adjourned. Take a roll call for that, don't we? Madam-
Okay. Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cott?
Yes.
Commissioner Casabun?
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello?
Yes.
Mayor Dixon?
Yes. And with that, we are now adjourned. Thank you very much.